Welcome everyone to the Collector Chatter podcast. This is episode 20. This is a pretty big milestone episode for us. I am Miguel, one of your hosts, and my co-host here, Charlie. Charlie, episode 20, man. How you doing?
Good. It's amazing. Like, I feel like we just started this yesterday and that we're 20 deep. It's amazing. And we obviously still appreciate everyone's support. And 20 is just, we're just going to go. We're going to get into hundreds of episodes. It's just like, but it's crazy that we're already at 20th.
I know it is crazy, and we still have stuff to talk about. So like we're super excited. This will be another episode kind of based around a certain line, not a huge line, not necessarily a big line that we collect, but we do want to make sure that you're all getting love out there. This is going to be an animation, pop animation line is kind of what we're going to talk about later in the episode, which obviously covers anime specifically, and then also like cartoons and some old cartoon shows. But we'll get into that towards the end of the episode. There's a pretty heavy news and a lot of rumors this week. So we're going to start off with the news and the rumors like we always do. And this week, a ton of stuff happened. So right off the bat, I wanted, obviously being a huge soda, collector, is just talking about one of the big soda reveals. We talked about it before, but now we finally got to see what it looked like. Was that Box Lunch is actually going to have two exclusive sodas, which is the Remy from Ratatouille and then the Edward from Cowboy Bebop. Which we've spoke about them, but now you're starting to see them out there. It looks like the international cans are starting to get into some YouTubers' hands and stuff. So just keep an eye out there because that Remy one looks super sick, and it's a flock chase.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Which is awesome.
I'm really excited for the Remy one, and it is crazy though. That rumor kind of came, and then it did get into people's hands pretty quickly, which I feel like doesn't normally happen like that quickly. It's like I feel like we saw that, and then all of a sudden, I know it's the international can, which is always crazy that people like get those so much sooner than they do the other ones, which I also sometimes find it funny, like why does Funko even have to make two different kinds? Like I don't get the point of that. Actually, I get
it was a weird thing.
The other retail exclusives, if they don't, there isn't a Target in X place, and that's why they do the special edition. But I don't get the international.
I've always said, a lot of people talk about this and like have kind of almost complained because it's like a smaller limited piece count, but in reality it's all one piece count because it's the same soda, just with a different pog and the color on the can maybe. But it's a weird thing. I don't know how they get it first, and even though they get it first, a lot of these other countries and stuff, as from what I know of, people on Instagram and YouTube and stuff, it's like hard for them to get sodas. So then I always find it weird that here in the US, we get the international soda before we get our own. And over there, they're not even really getting them. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it is really weird. But of course, we started seeing it finally, and it does look sick. We've been doing a rumors section for a little while now, a couple weeks. And normally it's like we said before, they're not guaranteed things, but they've been pretty spot on. And like you said, this was one that we saw the rumor, and within days later, like, it officially was like, okay, this is going to be real, and people were actually getting it in their hands. So that's one that I was like very excited for to see. And hopefully once we get it into the US, I'm definitely going to be going after that one. But we also had a pretty big drop in terms of a show. Well, I guess it's like a musical, I guess. So we know about Hamilton. And I know you had some things to say about this because Hamilton now it's basically like a wave 2, which is like a second act.
Yeah.
Of course, if you guys don't know, it's a huge Broadway play. But now that Disney owns them, we're probably going to see even more.
We're going to see a lot. I mean, it's interesting. We were talking about this before. I'm a pretty big Hamilton fan. Like I saw when it first came out, and I was always telling my wife, like, they got to make Funko Pops of this. Like, how do we not have Funko Pops of this? And like, just obviously years went on, nothing. And then for all you that don't know, they filmed the show with the original cast, and that is what's the Disney Plus original, which if you don't have a chance to actually see the Broadway show, I mean, for someone who did, that episode, that like special on Disney Plus is amazing. You get just as good a feel on it's with the original cast. But ever since Disney bought the rights to that, the Hamilton Pops are definitely something that they're contributing and pumping out. And like I said, I mean, they're legitimately coming out with Act 2 Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton outfit pop. Like that is just once again them going like, I have all the first wave of the Hamilton Pops. I have one of all the characters, but now it's like, do I really need? I'm a little upset too. They made a Thomas Jefferson one, which was a con exclusive, which I thought that was awesome. Like when they didn't have him in the beginning, I thought it was weird. Then it obviously made sense. But now they're having him with like another outfit that he wears in the show, different hairstyle as a common. Like, I don't know. I just think that's a little overboard, even though I
Yeah.
love the line.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great line because it's because of those outfits and the colors, like in general, it lends perfect to a pop. So they look great. You can recognize who they are. You know, they got the funky wigs and the hats and the, you know, the suits and everything. But it is one of those lines, like you said, now it's like the same character is going to start to get duplicated and we're going to get more merchandise. We'll probably get keychain versions of them and, you know, all that crap that Funko does. But if you're a big Hamilton fan and you want to, you know, complete the set, you got what, 4 more, I think is what was announced.
I think 4 more. And then there's also a rumor that they're now going to have a 3-pack of the Skylar sisters, which they should have just made that to begin with. And they're
another one.
Here's the other thing that bothers me. Okay. As a fan, that's just a repackage though. Why didn't they just make 3 new ones of them and make them 3-pack? Like that to me is just like, sometimes I don't understand what's going through their head. Like that's clearly just like, we're going to go after the collectors because we know they're just going to buy it again, which I don't love when they do that.
Yeah. I've always been confused with the multi-packs that are literally the same pops in one box. And like, I get like having that as a pop, but they shouldn't have the individual ones. Or if they make the individual ones, they shouldn't put them in a 2 or 3 or 4-pack. Like it should be one or the other. Like it just doesn't make sense to have
totally like
both.
they recently just came out with a Bad Batch GameStop exclusive with the entire all of the troopers, and they were different pops. They had them without their helmets on. Like to me, that was worthy of like the multi-pack. Like it didn't matter if they were reversed, like the commons could have been the ones without the helmets on, but at least it was different. Like they didn't just repackage them all in a multi-pack.
Yeah, that's just like, that's crazy. We also had some other stuff being dropped through Amazon. So we talked about this little new deluxe set for Stranger Things, which I know is going to be really cool. It's got like the upside down and you can put them together. It looks like it's 2x2. This time we got the Demogorgon. So that's the second one in the line, which the first one was 11. Was
11, and then it seems like the others Hopper and Will. What it looks like,
which makes sense. Yeah, it would be them. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. I love the Stranger Things. It's just something like with deluxe, I'm very, very picky on, like, because of the boxes are bigger and, you know, I don't have the space to actually take them out and display them, but it is a pretty cool piece if you do actually take them out of the box and display them. There was also one that I know caught my eye was the Entertainment Earth has a new blue translucent Ariel pop, which that's going to be basically what the soda is going to look like. The chase is that blue translucent. Yeah, so like they're gonna have like a pop version of it. Obviously I usually try to get all the Little Mermaid stuff for my wife, but don't know if I will with that or not. I did pre-order the sodas though, so I'll be looking out for those. We also had Target Con. So Target Con was now announced, and a little quick thing. Obviously, we're gonna go through all the ones that came out, but did you see the post where the Flock Tails, or not Flock Tails, Flock Knuckles,
it's already out,
has been out, and like I haven't seen it myself. My Target is awful, but it has been out. People have been getting them, and I actually just saw a picture recently.
The outlet picture,
well, whether like on clearance.
Yeah, so I don't. One of the accounts we follow, they're like, these are already in a Southern California like outlet type store. That they've discounted everything. They have tons of the Knuckles, which that drives me crazy. Like it's so weird. Sometimes I say to myself, did a shipment go wrong? And like normally Target does sell stuff to the store, but they sent them the wrong package, because I don't understand why they would have already just thrown that their way. It makes no sense to me.
It's so weird the way, and it feels like it's always happening with Target, but it's so weird that the way they sell things and the street dates, and then how things go on clearance really fast, and sometimes it's all based off of like a time, so they can physically not have it in the store, but if like a month goes by or whatever and then they suddenly get it, it'll automatically be clearance. And that's what happened with the Blacklight Hulks, where they just weren't popping up in stores, and then when they did, they were like clearance. And it was so like Target has a weird system when with that. But this Target Con 2022 obviously was pretty packed with some stuff. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not like blown away by it overall. I
Me
feel like
either.
Target Con usually has some pretty good stuff. Not over, there's some stuff that's whatever, but I mean, some of the stuff that we got right off the bat. So there are some keychains. We have Star Wars keychain, Fennec keychain. We also had a 2-pack set of logo and red boba,
Yeah, which
which
they
I
haven't
don't know.
really they haven't
Yeah, so
said
we
what
haven't
that is.
seen what that is yet. We also have another. So there's a lot of Star Wars, obviously. So we have another Mandalorian holding Grogu. We have a Lucario
Which I
10
think that's
inch.
a pin. They're making a few pop pins.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So pop pin
Yeah.
Mandalorian holding Grogu. That makes sense because that pop already exists. The Lucario is obviously a Pokemon one. We talked about him coming out, and that's a 10-inch one. So they usually, TargetCon usually has a Pokemon, at
Yeah, it
least a 10-inch
does.
version. We also have a Magic Johnson pop. He's in a red jersey, which is a little strange. Maybe it's a USA
That's what
one.
I was thinking. It
Dream
has to
Team's
be.
got to be because
There's
Lakers.
never
Yeah,
had a red jersey.
that would make sense. We also have a Star Trek one, so Kirk and Spock. That's a moment.
Yeah,
But again, we haven't seen
to me
exactly what that looks
that
like,
caught
right?
my eye. That's pretty cool. That there's not a Star Trek moment type pop yet. But yeah, we haven't seen a glam shot of it. But I'm pretty
And I would assume that's the newer movie, probably, right? Because that's kind of what it seems like most of the pops have been.
they have everything. So they
Although
recently
the NFTs were
I
more
think
the old.
yeah, I think it's going to be the OG because that's what the NFTs were, and they just recently were releasing pops from. They weren't re-releases; they were new molds, but of the
Yeah.
original.
Okay,
I think it's going to
that'd be
be
something cool.
original. Yeah,
That should be nice. Then we had a pop ride, so it was actually He-Man on Battle Cat, which I thought that
that
existed
already
already.
exists. It's flocked.
Okay, so there you go.
It's
So they're
ridiculous.
just changing it up a little bit. Then we also got the Knuckles flocked, which, like we said, that's one that for whatever reason got into stores and they started selling it.
Yeah, our boy Sensei
sooner.
Serum already has it. He actually just did a video that you should go watch of all flocked
different flocked pops.
But like, yeah, he legitimately already has it in his collection. This hasn't even officially been announced by Target.
So funny. Then there was also a Yu-Gi-Oh pop. It's a 6-inch one, actually. Shining Darkness is what that is. We have a WWE Becky Lynch with belt, so a pretty random, and then a red chrome Boba Fett, which that's kind of regular. We already have like the Mandalorian red chrome.
Yep.
I think there's maybe Darth Vader. There's a few of them.
Stormtrooper. They normally in the past have been red card exclusives.
Yes, I was gonna say that actually.
So I'm curious if this is gonna be, or if it's just part of,
or if it's just the con. Which I mean, but normally they don't have a sticker though. They're just Target only. Correct. As Target like exclusive. So if this one says Target Con, I guess it kind of might not be. But yeah, because I have the red chrome Mandalorian. Just got like the Mandalorian. I like the color red, and I was like, that one actually looks pretty cool. But that I actually picked up secondhand. Like I got that off of someone. I didn't have the red card. Yeah. I wasn't, I didn't get same thing with the Batman, the red chrome Batman I had gotten just off of somebody, like on Whatnot type of thing. But I mean, obviously Boba Fett's a popular character right now. But yeah, this is a pretty heavy Star Wars release overall, and then some Pokemon. So it's kind of I don't know. There's a few in there that are intriguing, but it'll be interesting to see the actual like glam shots and what we see when these actually officially start dropping. But yeah, that was a pretty big Target Con release. Then we also had our NFTs. Every month or so we're seeing a new NFT drop. So this past Tuesday, so last week we told you guys about it. It was Retro Comics, which was cool. It was Flash Gordon and Popeye. So Charlie is our, NFT guy. He usually goes after them. I've gone after the last few packs. This time I passed. I just wasn't really like as excited for the single characters that there were, the redeemables and stuff. But Charlie, what was your luck?
So
in case someone saw,
ripped open a premium pack, and my streak has continued. I got the legendary Pluto. Which is it's funny. I think the one I wanted the most was the Flash Gordon one, but I'm really happy that I got the Pluto one. It's pretty cool. I don't think they make a Pluto normal pop. Like I think a Popeye pop exists in the past, like an older one, but I think he's like the only character. So I was pretty happy to get like a first of its kind type pop. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, there might be one. I'm thinking about it because it might be those big three, which is like Popeye, the olive oil, or is that her name? Olive
oil.
I think there might be a pop of her and maybe Bluto. But obviously, we also know that there's a Popeye and a Bluto soda that are going to be coming out. So those have been like announced, they're just not out yet. So yeah, that was something cool. Like, I mean, this guy's been getting a redeemable, whether it's 1 or 2, you know, at least he's getting one every time he does one of these pack openings. And it's
I know I was
great
getting a little
because
spoiled because I was like, I didn't get the grill this time. But you know, beggars can't be choosers. I'm at least happy that I still got one. So even though weirdly enough, sometimes the grills aren't even the best ones. Like, I get why the Popeye is the grill, but I gravitate more to like obscure random characters, where like that's where Bluto kind of sits in my opinion versus getting the Popeye one.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. It's going to be cool. It's going to be, I'm excited to see once you start actually redeeming these and getting the physical pops in to see what they look like. Because obviously we know how limited they are and like the excitement around that right now. And they're starting to finally, I think we should be seeing them soon, at least the very first ones. And then, you know, every few months after that, we're going to start getting more and more. So that was definitely a drop. In case you guys, if you guys got them yourselves, you know, let us know if you guys got lucky enough to get anything redeemable wise on that drop. And if you're excited for the next one, which we don't know exactly what it'll be, but I think this year we're going to get a lot of different cool mixture of
I feel like
NFTs.
we'll ultimately end up, I hope it doesn't start being like once a week, because that I'm not going to be able to keep up with. I like the once a month, and I am hoping we're going to get into, I mean, they start off with a bang, I guess, with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then even Star Trek's a big property, but I'm curious if we'll get like the Marvel or DCs of the world. I think we'll get DC first, because part of me is wondering if they can't make Disney NFTs, because I do know there's another platform called Vv, which is a pretty big NFT platform for a lot of licenses. Disney being on there, like the first Disney NFTs you could only get through there. They have Marvel too. I'm curious if that's gonna stop them from making them on Funko, or it doesn't really matter because they're different.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I guess we'll see. And like, yeah, maybe DC would be their way into like some of those, you know, a bigger comic line. But then we also had some Funko Shop exclusives. So just to kind of run through them, the two like big ones, it was a Lil Wayne lollipop and pop. That's funny to say, but yeah, it's him holding a lollipop. Obviously, his famous song "Lollipop." And then there was a Sully with Boo, and I thought it was interesting because the Lil Wayne was kind of out of nowhere. I was like, whatever. The Sully with Boo was one that we kind of knew was coming. It was one of those ones that was announced like this is going to be a Funko Shop exclusive. And I feel like it just kind of sat around. It didn't sell like it should. We've been talking about how Funko Shop exclusives either are just being too mass produced, or maybe just excitement's not there anymore. But I feel like if this was like a year ago or something, Sully
Gone in
like,
a second.
it would have been gone. Like that's just a big. It's usually a very big line, Monsters Inc. and anything with Sully or Boo or any of them usually sells pretty fast. But yeah, this is I believe it might still be there.
I think the only one that has, since we've started doing this podcast, we're now on our 20th episode, the only exclusive that sold out instantly, I think, is the Blacklight Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, which was like 10 minutes or whatever it was. It was like
everything else pretty
standard.
much like sits there. The die casts have as well, but
yeah, but that's a little I wouldn't even count those. Yeah, I would,
so nothing. They're all just sitting
everything
there.
else maybe within a day, I think, was the next fastest, which would be like a day later or something. But yeah, even so, like you can still go on and get
they're all there.
Ton of exclusives if you go into that section, which I don't
know.
You
can still get all their New York Comic-Con and Festival of Fun ones.
I just don't get that. Like the word exclusive is just not being used correctly in that sense. Like I get it that it just means it's only coming from the Funko Shop, and that's
which is
their
what they
sticker.
Want. Yeah,
but it really should be less of them.
But like, the stickers don't matter. Remember, they said the boxes don't matter. To them. So,
but that's why. So they're just doing it just based off of them having it. It's definitely not a piece, and it doesn't have to. Like we've said this in the past, it doesn't have to be a piece count. It doesn't have to be like 1,000 of these, 500 of these. No, but even if it's like 3,000, they don't have to say it is. They would sell fast, and that would make it exclusive. That would make it pretty rare. Versus where I'm thinking these things got to be in the like 50,000. Like there's got to be many because they
just as much as it's a common. They're putting
so it's just got their sticker on it. Then we had also this is just a quick little thing, Force Ghosts. I know all you guys are Star Wars fans. We are still waiting for this, but right now we have been seeing some shipping. So I know that there's a little bit of a trick that you can do to potentially get this thing shipped out to you quick, but it's also canceling some people's orders, so be very careful with that. But right now we're just kind of sitting and waiting. Ours has been pushed back down till April,
Yeah.
but we have seen some people actually getting them in their hands. And it's because supposedly these things, they're
Yeah.
already out there. We're just not
Yeah.
getting them.
So, I mean, supposedly for all, like, I know Mink's kind of just talked about it a little bit, but, do this with caution. But I think it may have been dish trackers who said, there's a hack. If you go into your order and you change like the shipping type, it'll then automatically change it to like shipping like in the next few days. It seems to have worked for a lot of people, especially like a lot of content creators. But then a
Mhm.
lot of other people then had commented like, dude, like they canceled mine, or Amazon now said that I'm at the back of the queue, so their date went even further. So like it seems to be working for a lot of people, but not for everyone. And I want this pop, as you guys know, like more than anything, and I'm not gonna risk this being canceled because I think this is going to be a grail. Weirdly, like an Amazon exclusive is going to be a grail. Like I don't think this is really going to come back in stock. But then
Yeah.
someone also commented, I work in Amazon warehouse. These have been on the shelves. I don't know why we're not shipping them. So like that's really frustrating to hear that.
It's so
So
weird.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
makes
just
no
comes back
sense.
to like what is the process of why they're doing this. And like we've been dealing with like just to kind of not go on a tangent, but kind of similar type situation. I've dealt with specifically two different situations where I pre-ordered something. One was through GameStop, and they might have both been through
I think
GameStop,
they
but I know
both
for
were
sure. Yeah,
GameStop.
I think they were
Yeah.
both GameStop. Two separate things. One was a soda and one was a pop. And both times they were pre-ordered months ago. They are actually officially out. I never got any information. Says that they're processing still. They're GameStop themselves is selling it and whatever. So I would chat in and I'm like, what's going on with this order? Can I just cancel it? And because it wouldn't let you cancel it or whatever reason. So then they would tell you, oh, it's already in the pre-shipment process. That means you can't cancel. You have to wait for it to ship out. And it's happened to me two separate times with two different types of things. And what happens is the second I say that, the next day I get tracking information that this item is being shipped, and then I get it in like 2 or 3 days. And I'm like,
Crazy.
so why was it sitting there for months, literally months? And it's like someone has had to like hit a button basically. And once I like complained that I was going to cancel it, they're like, oh no, sorry, we can't cancel it. We'll
Here.
just. Oh no,
Here.
actually, one was Walmart. That's what it was. One was Walmart, one was GameStop. So
Okay.
it was the Boba Fett.
Oh, you're
It
right. The
was a
Boba
Boba
Fett
Fett
one
pop,
you
yeah,
said.
which is ridiculous that I was still waiting for that. But yeah, not to go crazy on that stuff. But yeah, that was something. And then we also had something pretty cool. This was like a news, like actually Funko news. So we mentioned this, it was a while ago now, right? Like
Yeah.
a bunch of episodes back. That Funko was in the process of buying an enormous space and warehouse in Arizona. And now we actually were reading up on a little bit of news that what's happening is they're actually going to be closing their Everett, Washington distribution center, which, if most of you guys know, when you get stuff from Funko, the address usually is
Yep.
Everett, Washington, pretty much all the time. So now this new facility that they got, which is enormous, supposedly, I'm assuming it's a lot bigger than the Everett, Washington one,
Yeah.
is in Arizona. It's like Phoenix area, and it's like a smaller out suburban area outside of Phoenix, and that's going to now be their new full like distribution center that they're going to use. So I find it pretty interesting because I'm assuming it would help because it's probably going to be a lot bigger. So hopefully they can get more stuff in there. I don't know if like it's going to affect us when it comes to money and prices, because now we're also going to a different state. I don't know how like taxes work with like Arizona versus
Yep.
Washington. But I believe is Arizona still West Coast time, so that's still out there, right? I believe. Like as far as
Yeah.
like shipping to the East Coast, I feel like it may
I mean,
not like because
it's gonna be a little short. It'll be better for us, but
yeah, because
the
we've
one,
been I know we deal with that a lot. Like
yeah,
I follow a lot of people that are in California or Vegas, for instance, and stuff, and they get stuff like next day essentially from Funko, and like we're
yeah,
sitting here waiting like a week over. So hopefully this kind of fixes that. But I'm more excited for the fact that I'm hoping it just means there's going to be more stuff getting pumped out, and we
that's
won't
what
have as many
I think
issues.
that's what's gonna happen. And I saw like this doesn't bother me. I don't think it bothers you, but I think they're just gonna also pump more out of the same product as well.
Their
So
common
like,
stuff.
yeah, like it's just gonna be, which I don't blame them. Like, for some of the common pop, that's why the limited ones, going back to the Funko Shop exclusive, should be limited. But like, if I want to book a Boba Fett pop, like that's character. of Boba Fett from that show, like, does it really ultimately need to become like not continuously made? Like, I get it's a collectible, but I think Funko does want to be in the business of people can always get something that they want. They don't all need to be, vaulted and like never being made again. And I do
Yeah.
think that that strategy is going to come to play a little bit with this new distribution center, because if you've seen the pictures of it, I mean, it's huge. It's like
Yeah, it's a huge
Amazon type facility. So
Mhm.
I'm sure the one they have now is not even close to being that size.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I going back to like what you were saying about them mass producing and that kind of stuff. I think they totally can do both, but I feel like they haven't figured out a way
No, they
to
haven't.
get us that common pop that we can easily always grab, but also have some exclusivity stuff. And I feel like they don't know how to balance that. And I feel like if they can figure that out, it'll make us as collectors a little happier, whether it be like you being able to get that normal one. Because I know that if as a pure collector, if you know that a pop is numbered or is very exclusive, you wouldn't be as upset like if you didn't get it, because you know that
Yep.
it is. But when they run around with tags saying exclusive and things like that, and they're really not, and then sometimes they sell out, or sometimes they're just making too many, and we're like, wow, you're making too much stuff. It just kind of confuses, like,
No,
so
it does.
maybe they got to figure out that balance. But yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to touch on. So the Fun TV.
Fun TV. Yeah.
So yeah, this we were cracking up about this. So Fun TV, obviously they released something. So we kind of spoke about this before. I know you said Brian and stuff was kind of really focusing on this side of things, which was this whole little like entertainment channel and shows and interviews and things like that. So normally though, we would get like an episode of Fun TV and we see like some exclusives and some upcoming things and whatever. And this time it wasn't that. It was mostly like that quirky little game show and people with costumes on, and it was cringe, honestly. It's like that's like the best
Yeah,
word
it
to
was.
describe it.
And it was like it was like they disguised this, eventized night as it was an advertisement too. Like
Yeah.
two of the girls who normally they do a lot of their social media.
Yeah, the Instagram page.
Yeah. So they, were in this new like house, and it was very like sitcom-y, like 60s, 70s
Yep.
style, which going back to again, like it's definitely stuff that, Brian and Mike love. And they're even showing that even with the games show, like very cheesy old type game show. But they were showing off the Valentine's Day line of those I don't know, they're like animals, but they're like doing like like horror type things. Have you seen these?
No.
They're basically like mini mysteries. They're not in the normal box, but they're just like little adorable, cute little animals, but like they
Yeah.
have a knife in their hand, or like
Oh, okay.
it's
Yeah.
like, like a horror, spin on Valentine's Day. And they basically showed those off, the plushies of the line, the lounge fly bags of the line. It was kind of what they normally do on their Instagram, but heavily
Mhm.
produced.
Yeah.
And that I would have assumed they were going to show like new products, not just
Mhm.
like things that are coming that they've already announced on all of their social media accounts. So there was nothing if you're a true Funko fan, you're probably already seen this on their social media, and they're the people that are going to go watch the show. You're not going to get some random person that just
Yeah.
stumbles across it on YouTube and is like, oh, I'm going to watch this. So like they've already seen everything. So I was disappointed in that. There was absolutely nothing new. The only thing they did that caught my attention was Brian's going to have a segment where he interviews like celebrities about collectibles. The first one was Elijah Wood, which I love Elijah Wood. I thought it was a great like first guest. And what was cool was it then afterwards, like, oh, you can go to funko.com, which I don't know if you've noticed, there's now a new tab that shows all the Fun TV stuff. Like they
Yeah.
shorten the interview on the live stream, and then you can go watch the full interview on funko.com. So they're definitely trying to turn it and like have an entertainment branch. And they're actually
Yeah.
announced they're coming out with like a documentary about the Hollywood store.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
you could definitely see that they're trying to like create a brand like on the entertainment front and like get into that space and like have that, because now we've seen that weekly. Like now it was announced that like starting today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, for the rest of the week, you're going to get like a different like segment of like fun TV. And it's almost like they're creating their own channel now that is going to have constantly some kind of content revolved around, Funko type stuff. But I just hope that there's like some that are like a little bit more exciting and more like, these are some drops, these are some exclusives. And then the interview thing is pretty cool. But like to me, like the cheesiness of like the shows and the game shows and like, and that just doesn't play well.
Even
for
with
me,
the game show,
maybe people like it.
I'm not 100% sure. For someone like, for all of you that don't know, I work in television, and I'm not sure if that was just a heavily produced fake game show or they were actual fans that they got to be on it. Like, which I think they want you to think that they were actually fans who got the opportunity to be on this game show, but it didn't come across that way to me. It seemed like they were all planted and like they had a role to play.
Yeah, and I only watched like a little bit of this because I was like, "What is going on?"
Did you
like,
from the little that you watched, did you feel that way?
I thought it was just a show. Like I thought they were actors or people that work for Funko or whatever. That's how it came across to me, at least, because I just didn't take it seriously.
No, I agree.
I think like the way he was and dressed and whatever, I think I could see, I guess, random fans being there, but I don't know.
So they're gonna do this every week, like
I don't know,
and make it fake. Like I don't know. It was
so maybe it is just people who get lucky and they get to go on and they probably win some swag or something. So I don't know. We'll see, but keep a lookout for the fun TV stuff that will be coming out. But let's run through some rumors because there was a ton of these. So we talk about this all the time now. We get a lot of rumors through different sites that we follow. And again, these are just rumors, so nothing is confirmed. But as you've seen in the past, we've said some rumors and then they've come to fruition and actually been real. So we had a couple of sodas. Of course, soda line. We said this in the end last year when we were talking about what's going to happen this year. And every episode since, there's been a lot of new sodas drops. So we know that the sodas are going to keep pumping out through Funko. But we have Rick, which I took it as Rick and Morty. It makes the most sense. It just came up as Rick. So it's probably that. Bullwinkle from Rocky and Bullwinkle, of course, which is cool because I think we have Fearless Leader already is the only one for that line, which obviously we should have Rocky. But Bullwinkle and then Yogi Bear, which would be an awesome one for sure. Then we also had this line that we spoke about before, Banana Splits. And there's a rumor that they're going to be dropping them all again, but in blacklight version, which I'm so like, I don't know. Like, I love the blacklight, and we're going to talk about other blacklights that are going to be dropping later, but I don't like that they drop regular versions and then blacklight versions of the same one. Like, I don't mind one or the other type of thing. Like, Banana Split sodas might have been cool just to be blacklight because they're so like kind of out there.
Yeah.
But because we already have them, and now we're going to get, and I didn't think they were that popular.
I don't see the demand. Like, to me, like, and we've said this so many times, but one thing that's a strength of Funko is they do make a lot of random niche, products of random television shows that aren't mainstream. This being one of them. And I really liked that they were like products. I've always been a fan of like, they make these random, like really, most of the nerdy type, people who are really into the stuff are going to the cons. It makes it special. This doesn't need to be like a random soda Funko shop exclusive drop. Like, I think they sold out because they were, smaller piece count for the con. I don't see it being that big of a deal.
Yeah, because they were very limited. So I'm assuming these will probably be not as limited if I had to guess. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The ones that like, again, like I said, I don't really like that they are re-releasing them, but I think they look cool are the Ninja Turtles. So we talked about this before. Ninja Turtle Blacklight sodas were going to be coming back out, and seeing them now is pretty sick because they're actually like in their color, like red Raphael, orange for Michelangelo. So like that is pretty sick. Like, I know the original OG Turtle line, which I have most of those, was pretty cool. They made glow in the dark chases, and then the villain guys like Bebop, Rocksteady, Shredder, their chases were blacklight, so it was really cool, and it made it kind of like limited. So now it's going to be weird because they're not only doing the Turtles, they're also doing like Rocksteady again. So now he's going to be blacklight both ways.
See, I just wouldn't have made that character.
They should have just done the Turtles. If they wanted to do blacklight versions, like just do the 4 Turtles. That's fine because you already have the other ones.
Or like, where's an April O'Neil soda? Like,
Yeah, which should be coming because we got Casey Jones.
yeah,
Finally, it took a while. We got Casey Jones. We definitely should be getting in April, and we should be getting a
a
Splinter.
Splinter. Yeah,
We don't have a
like,
Splinter yet. So those definitely should be coming. And I mean, we can go back and forth about this when it comes to soda, but like I agree on like that they shouldn't be duplicating something of a line before they complete the line. And it's not like we're talking about Marvel, which has so many people. We're talking about like a show or a movie that has like a handful of characters that you can totally run through and come out with all of them. And then if you want to come out with a variation and do something else, that's fine. But like, look, they're already coming out with more turtles. And like you said, we don't even have Splinter. We don't have April O'Neil. And those are obviously big characters that we do have in pop form. So we know that they can exist. But yeah, it's going to be, I don't know. It's interesting. But speaking of Blacklight, obviously Blacklight's also a big thing that we kind of predicted was going to be heavy for 2022. And so far it has been. This one I am excited for, of course. Horror fan. If you guys didn't watch our horror episode, make sure to check it out. We went in depth on some horror pops and collectibles in general, but we have Chucky, Elvira, and a Michael Myers. So again, these are rumors. I think it's going to be interesting to see what these look like. Like I'm trying to think of like what's the mold that they're going to use, like how would that look? Because when we talked about the horror episode, you mentioned like how these horror villains and these horror characters are so well known, right? Like just like you see them and you know who they are, whether you're a fan, whether you watch the movie. If you see Michael Myers in his mask, you know it's Michael Myers. You see Freddy in his hat and everything, you know it's Freddy. So to see them in a different color is gonna be a little weird, I think. But I would have to see them. I can't say no because obviously I usually go after everything.
Yeah, you know you're gonna get
related, so I'm probably gonna get them. But like to me, Elvira seems like that probably be cool. And Chucky, I mean, because he's kind of like more of a doll. The Michael Myers one, even though I love Michael Myers, is the one that I'm worried about, like what that would look like. You know,
I agree, but I weirdly think that is probably going to be the sickest one.
I feel like there probably will be sick.
Like that, it's funny. I get the Elvira one, and like she's like a big like the powers that be at Funko love her, but like I just like, does she need a blacklight one? Like I feel like they can play around with a cool color scheme with the Michael Myers one, where even the like I don't know. I think it's weird they're making these, if I'm being honest.
It is. That's what I'm saying. That's
no, I know
worried.
you are.
Like I'm worried to like see them and be like, ugh, like why did they do that? But like it also could be amazing. So I don't know. It's gonna be weird to see, I guess. And then what? But like now they're starting. We talked about it with the Stranger Thing pops and obviously Jimi Hendrix. They're slowly going into like human pops and making a black light versus where they used to be more like superheroes and then some animals, and then now they're going more into like an actual more human looking character, and that's kind of what they're doing here. So I mean, I guess we'll see. We also had some other stuff. So funny one that we spoke about before was Zorro. So if you guys don't know about Zorro, we have a Zorro 65th anniversary. Crazy, that's 65 years.
But, I'm pretty pumped for that pop.
But weirdly that enough, seems pretty cool.
Yeah, like I was saying before, you know, if you guys haven't checked out our Disney episode, you should go check that one out. But after that, you know, my dad was kind of like, dude, they should be making like some of the old classic like Disney movies, like Old Yeller or like the Zorro series. And I'm like, yeah, those are pretty cool, but they don't make them. Then now we get this, you know, news that they're coming out with the Zorro pop. Like, so Funko really there, man. They, once again, they know to make something for all of the different generations and all their fans, which is why I do love them. You're always going to get something that's totally, you know, comes out of left field, but it's really cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's going to look pretty sick. I would think. We also had a Spider-Man comic covers. So we spoke about comic covers for a while now because that's kind of a line that's slowly evolving, and we're getting a lot of, you know, glam shots and rumors and things that line's going to continue to expand. Currently, if I'm not mistaken, the only one that's actually officially released is a Superman one, right? At this point, like actually in your hand,
one that people have. Yep.
Yeah. So we are going to be getting more. That one's pretty cool because there's like two different versions. We have the regular Spider-Man. It's like the first appearance one, I think, right? And then a symbiote one, which
it's going to be pretty sweet. But I find it interesting that they're making this, that, and then the Venom one. Like I know they're all different, but once again, going back, like share the wealth of like come back later and make the symbiote one of Spider-Man. Like, I
Yeah.
want that one. I'm not saying I don't. It's gonna be sick, but like, there's so many other characters you can make them for. That's like the one
rather
thing
than
that
almost like duplicating. Like it's like not duplicating, but kind of
it's
duplicating.
probably the
So
same molds of the pop.
well, that's what I'm worried about too, because like we haven't seen these molds yet. The only one we saw was the Superman, and the Superman, I think, is its own. Yeah, actually, I don't know. That
I
might be a
struggle.
redone one.
It may be like, I do think they made a con exclusive. It's funny because I don't have it, or of him in that original outfit, but I'm not sure if it's the same pop.
Yeah, like even the pose might be the same. Maybe the outfit is what's
But I do know,
like
like, they make that came out on the 80th anniversary. Like, I have the Funko Pop of this Spider-Man appearance. Like, on the back of the box is the cover of this comic that this is gonna be. So it makes me feel like, is it gonna be the same one? I don't know. The bat, because I don't think they've ever made the Batman pop, and I know for a fact the Vision, the Monica Rambeau, and the Wanda one are all new molds.
Okay, yeah. So maybe they usually do go with new molds for those. So hopefully they do for the
But you may be right. Superman may not be new.
Yeah, we'd have to look at it. Like the outfit, because even at that point, the outfit technically could be different if the mold stance and everything's the same. Then obviously it's still kind of like just a replication. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. But that was probably all I was most excited for. Rumor wise. Oh well, actually,
I was excited.
Star Wars one.
Yeah, the deluxe Vader and R2D2. I mean, everyone knows, huge Star Wars collector. I'm gonna get it, but like, this is an interesting one. I like.
I wonder what what is that gonna? It's a deluxe one, so they're it's not necessarily a movie moment, but it's like,
I gotta see the picture, but it's just funny. They're the two characters that like I love, but most of the pops are the same.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, but
we talked about that specifically with Darth Vader, how many they make.
Are they just gonna?
And then with an R2D2, like what else can you do with it?
Really do. Yeah, I know. Like so that'll be interesting. But still excited for it. Yeah. Those are definitely the big. I actually think too, they announced a Dragon Ball Z like movie well, not a movie moment, but
yes, I did see that. It's like a deluxe on the like the flying Nimbus like cloud. So they have that pop, which I have, and it's like him, it's like younger. It's pretty cool. But it's supposed to be like a bigger one. I'm assuming more like a 6-inch size or whatever, or it's like more of like a deluxe bigger size. So that would be pretty cool if it's like a bigger mold because of the Nimbus. So they do make a regular size one. I know that for sure because I have that one. But yeah, I did see that. That would be pretty cool. But that kind of actually ties perfectly into the episode, actually. So the rest of the episode, at least, because obviously we were pretty heavy with news and rumors, but that was going to be all the news and rumors that we have for this week. And now we're going to switch it up and go with the rest of the episode, which is going to be our pop animation episode. So we were going back and forth on this episode because we kind of know some of the stuff that is in this line. We collect some of it, but not heavy. And of course, normally when you hear pop animation, you usually think anime as the animation because they do make a lot in this line. But I wanted to kind of break it up because animation also covers some like cartoons. So some cartoon shows and things that we grew up on and that kind of stuff. So they all fall under pop animation. So if you look at the pop itself, it'll say pop and animation. That's the line that it specifically is. One thing I was surprised about this line though was it is a little bit of a newer line. It looks like the first one that ever dropped in the animation line was in 2014, and it was the Flintstones. So we got Fred and Barney were the first two pops under the animation like umbrella. And then it kind of like grew, and Rocky and Bullwinkle, we had some of those OG ones, and then a few other ones. And then anime finally started, and of course the first one was Goku, which you just spoke about, Dragon Ball Z. That was actually number 9 in the animation collection. And yeah, me personally, I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, so like I was never really huge into anime usually, but Dragon Ball Z, for whatever reason, like I think a lot of kids, it kind of like
it was really popular,
caught my eye, got really popular. We would watch it. It was popular here, even like dubbed versions and everything like that. And then it kind of like blew up, obviously, and it's a show that has a ton of episodes. And like I kind of like slowly stopped watching it. But when I first started collecting pops, if you guys watch any of my videos or you're watching now, you'll notice on this back row here, I think it's what, like these 2 rows here, these are all Dragon Ball Z pops, and they're pretty much like some of the basic ones, at least like one of each character, a couple different Super Saiyan versions, but not like heavy. But these are the first few ones I ever got, because to me, like when I remember seeing Funko, like the first 2 things I thought about was Batman, which is funny. There's like Batman style ones, and Dragon Ball Z. Like that's what I always saw. And I was always like, they make so many of these as Funko, right? And then obviously you get into it and you notice they make everything. But yeah, that's where like I got into the anime side of things. But then obviously I was writing down a few like big shows, and like some of these, like I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But then I started getting confused because I was like, what, why is this missing or why not? But you got to remember, animation is specifically like not like a
Big
movie.
licenses.
Like, yeah, it's not the big, so it's not Disney. So even though Disney has animation and Pixar and stuff, that's not going to go into under animation. Some that are like movies, like or toys, or like retro toys, Ninja Turtles, right? You would think that could be a cartoon or animation. It's not. So like some of those don't fit in, but we have like Family Guy. Then we have Futurama, Simpsons falls into that. And then there's also the really old ones like Wacky Racers, G.I. Joe, Peanuts. But
All
then
the Nickelodeon
anime.
shows too.
Yeah, all the Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, the Cartoon Network shows and Nickelodeon shows. So like all those fall into there. And then anime has its own side, which obviously is Dragon Ball Z, Avatar, which is huge now, My Hero Academia, which is enormous clearly now at this point, Naruto, One Piece, like all these other ones that I don't know too much about them, but I know what they are, and I know I've seen them. I pulled them in mystery boxes, for instance. And I know for sure it's like a line that probably has for sure has its own huge side of collectors. I mean, we know one specifically, Sensei Serum. We had him on here as a guest, and he was a huge anime collector himself. I know a ton of other people in the community who are as well. But I know a ton of people who hate anime and don't like getting Dragon Ball Z pops, and they get upset they get those in mystery boxes. But I think it's a cool line because it fits a big range of kids. You can go from a big range of people. I mean, like age. Kids obviously can get some of these. There's Rugrats. And then we have all the different Cartoon Network shows, like you said, and then going up into anime, and then Family Guy, which is obviously more of an adult teenage kind of show.
It's weird they're part of the
it's
same
like cool
line, though, in my opinion. Like I look, it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, I collect animation pops, and I have Demon Slayer, and I could have a Blue's Clues pop. Like it's kind of funny that they're part of the same line. I do. I mean, but at this point, they don't want to mess it up. And we kind of talked about this when Sensei was on, but it's almost like anime is just so huge. It's like it should just have its own line at this point.
Just like last week where we said horror could have totally had its own.
Exactly.
And like we also get where there's a mix. When it came to horror, we said, okay, some movies could be more sci-fi, more comedy, but kind of horror. So then you're like kind of playing around. So they left them all as movies. All right, so that makes sense. But I do think that anime specifically, anime, Japanese anime, like manga style ones, could totally be its own anime, and cartoons could have probably been the name of like the other line.
Exactly.
And so, but I'm sure once they started it and they're like, well, these are animations, and they didn't know, and they started doing it, like, they're not going to just suddenly, none of these lines are going to just change. Yeah, they just keep adding to the line at this point.
Like, we were saying before, like Disney and Pixar, like they're not part of the animation line, even though they clearly are some of the biggest animated properties in the world. They have their own lines, where it's just, they're just pops. Like it's just, I don't get caught up on that, but it is just interesting when they are like, I sometimes actually forget that there is like these types of lines because I'm looking at them now. Oh, I'm just getting this character type, like whether it's a television show or, it's a movie, because then we cross that into the animation as well. There's TV shows and there's movies, but they're just under animation.
Yeah. It really is. It really is interesting because it's like, and obviously even like some comics are animated, and
Yeah,
the animated series Batman, right? It's
exactly.
under Heroes, but it's an animated series, like it shows it. It's just not under animation. So I can see how it can be confusing if like you just start getting into collecting and you're wondering why it is. Like to me, I always found it interesting that certain boxes of like pops didn't say they didn't all have that little tag.
Yeah.
Like I always thought that was weird. Like obviously the horror ones are under pop movies, so you see them pop movies. But we've talked about it before, where Star Wars, it just says pop,
Yep.
and then in the top of the box it'll say Star Wars, or it'll say Rogue One, maybe like the ones that
Yep.
were like specific to a movie. Um, but I always thought it was interesting that they didn't say like pop Star Wars. And Marvel, for instance, also doesn't say pop Marvel, but it used to. And the other reason why I know it used to is because that
You're a grail.
Spider-Man pop that I just got, which is the number 15 in the Marvel line, actually says pop Marvel. And they stopped that at some point and just made it say pop. And then the Marvel or the movie or whatever would be like the big header on the box. So, and even with Disney doesn't say pop Disney, even
No,
though it's literally what it is because it has its own line.
it's also interesting you just brought up even like the Star Wars, like Rogue One is a perfect example. Like when obviously Disney bought Star Wars and it got brought back, that was their first like spin-off movie. But then afterwards, like the Book of Boba Fett ones, for example, they just say Star Wars, but the
Yeah.
Mandalorian ones say Mandalorian. And like the movies now, they don't say their titles, they just say Star Wars again.
Yeah.
It's interesting how they played around like what should we do and what shouldn't we do.
Well, that's another thing too, is that it's sometimes because some of the Mandalorian ones don't. Like I have a Mandalorian GameStop exclusive I'm looking at right here, and it says Star Wars.
Okay.
But then I know that some of the series will show. So it's like sometimes it did it, sometimes it didn't. It is weird, like how the boxes are and what they do with these. But specifically to animation, like yeah, it's one of those lines that like there's so much that fits into it. But I mean, like even when I was looking through some of these, like I feel like there's definitely some shows like missing. Like there's got to be, like I know like some of the old, when I was like growing up, I feel like Rocket Power. I love
Yep.
that cartoon. I'm like, they should make popsicles. That'd
They
be so
totally
cool.
should.
Like I think they make Ed, and Eddie, do they? Or I've seen a rumor of it, I feel
I
like.
don't know if they
But
do.
like that's like another one. Hey Arnold, I
Do they
think.
make Captain Planet? I don't
No,
think
I
they
don't
do.
think
They
they
should make
do.
Captain. I don't. Where's the Captain Planet
What is
box
that
now?
under? Like what is that?
I mean,
Who
I would.
makes
Who?
who
I don't
makes
even.
Captain?
That may be. I don't even know who owns that. If I'm being
Because that's
honest.
another thing too, is like maybe certain people,
Yeah.
certain ones. But I would think that if it's like Nickelodeon or
Oh, if it's
Cartoon
Nickelodeon now,
Network or
like,
something, they're
yeah,
already
they're
making
making that.
those
They're
that,
making those.
yeah, that they should. But I know that for sure there's definitely some of those cartoons that they haven't yet. And I don't see them like necessarily expanding the animation line where they're making new movie or new
Yeah.
shows like that they had. It seems like they're kind of calling back to some of the other ones and then redoing them. And same thing with the anime. Obviously, they're gonna redo more Dragon Ball Z and then redoing more My Hero Academia. And like they're kind of just like
Well,
recycling some of those.
because even I know they're doing that with Rugrats. Because weirdly enough, so I actually am starting a new job tomorrow. Today, I'm gonna be working for Nickelodeon. So one thing my wife was like, she wanted to get me some Nickelodeon pops. I'm like, okay, so now I'm gonna start like a new collection. And she was like looking for Rugrats, and like a lot of them now, like you can't really come across them.
They're like
You know,
vaulted.
yeah. But I noticed one of the rumors for the toy fair is they're making some new Rugrats Funkos. So it seems like like I never really realized this, and now it's because I got this new job, I was kind of getting excited. Like Nickelodeon does have a ton of Funko Pops in their line that they're just going to continuously make. So it's just interesting. It's like they are gravitating towards these big IPs in this animation line. They're just going to keep, rolling with those. Because even Nickelodeon owns Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
so they just slap that on the box too, and they just keep making tons of Ninja Turtles, and they're part of the animation line. Like it's interesting.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, Nickelodeon definitely has a big chunk of them for sure. Like I actually have the Tommy and the Chucky pops
Okay.
from like the original ones The Chucky I have is out of box somewhere down here, and then a Tommy I have in box, and the box is pretty damaged. But they're like the only ones I have. But I don't have like I know like I saw a Reptar, like What the Pop
Yep.
actually on their
Yeah,
auction
they
was
had two of
had
them.
like the Reptar on there, and there are a few that are like pretty old, but yeah, they're gonna definitely redo them. I believe there was a new movie. Didn't they like redo them like a little older,
Yeah,
looking weird or
yeah, and
something?
there's a new show actually now on Paramount Plus, which is
Or show?
I
Okay.
haven't watched. It's like more modern CGI.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
That's
yeah,
what it
but
was.
I'm curious. I wonder if the Funko Pops will be of that. Not that you can really tell a difference in a pop line, but
Yeah, but I mean, they do look different, like if especially from us like remembering some of those old shows. But yeah, I just feel like there's a couple that like I thought about. Like I don't know, like Hey Arnold to me was a pretty big show, and I don't know if they make.
I think
I
they
don't know if they
do.
make that or if they do. It's like one of those ones that's
The
probably really
lines
hard
aren't
to.
big, but yeah, they're hard to make. I
Yes.
feel like all those like 90s Nickelodeon shows, they
Hmm.
made like a select few, and they're all part of like the bigger Nickelodeon line. But I also think that goes back to showing how Brian and Mike, they're clearly not, as we all know, 90s kids. Like they're making tons of like we talk about, Master of the Universe, like that obviously is a big property. I don't think it's as big as the amount of product they pump out for Funko,
Yeah.
but that's something that they like.
What is that? What is that under television?
I think it is actually under television,
Okay.
not animation,
Yeah,
but
because it's not animation. I'm pretty sure.
it's not. You're right. It's television. But to me, once again, I mean, that's an animated show. Like that
Yeah.
just is
Yeah.
what
No,
it
no,
is.
no, no, for sure. I'm just
No,
wondering because I'm trying to think of like animation wise, like there's a lot of, yeah, because there's a lot of cartoons, there are a lot of things that like they got to start thinking about people our age and like people growing up
exactly.
in the 90s and it seems like they kind of started thinking about really old stuff that they grew up with, like even wacky racers. Like I remember that's obviously really old. Rocky and Bullwinkle and like some of those, like they're pretty old,
They're old.
and I know what they are.
Yes.
But they did that and then they started doing like new stuff, like they're doing the anime stuff for the newer, the newer
Correct. If it doesn't
generation.
fall under Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, which is a lot of them of our generation, but like
Hmm.
that's really all they're like. I remember there was a cartoon that I liked when I was young, which weirdly, when we interviewed Ezra, he brought up as something he would like Street Sharks. Like
Oh
those
yeah,
would be
you guys
pretty,
talked about that. I didn't know what that
like
was. So yeah,
those
yeah.
would be pretty sweet pops. Like I had those toys when I was little. Like I look at that, I'm like, how is Funko not like thought? Like to me, that's like right up their alley. Like such an obscure, like totally niche show that like was popular for probably like 2 years and then fell out of existence. But it was like they were a popular toy at the time. Those would be like awesome Funkos. But yeah, they haven't.
Yeah.
But then those could be under the retro toy
I was
line.
just gonna say, but what,
Like,
because
yeah,
some of the retro toys are, or were animated shows or were cartoons that
because
would
is Ninja
basically go
Turtles
under
under two
animation.
different lines? Because I know they make a
So
retro toys, but I think the
so
other ones are animated.
retro toys is a very new line.
Yes.
So retro toys just like maybe 2 years ago or something. It was the first time it even like released, and they released that wave of Ninja Turtles under that. But the OG Turtles are, I want to say they're maybe movies or television. They're not under animation. Versus, let me see. I could check right now, but I know that's like one of those things that obviously it kind of can go back and forth because some of these cartoon shows were also movies, and then it's like, do they go after what's like more popular
They're
or like
television.
they are television?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh wow. So they
So it
really,
is a,
and then I know they made some of them are under the movies line,
also
which
some are under movies
yeah,
line.
so they're actually they
So I guess the actual like movie accurate, yeah, like
and they have retro toys. They're like I don't know of any. This may be one of the very few IPs that have spanned through totally different lines,
oh wow, yeah, that one's movies. That's
which
so
is
weird.
interesting to me.
So they really do, yeah, they like milk that line, huh? So I guess based off of, and even the new ones that are going to be coming out, those will probably be under comic or
I
something.
mean, they should. Well, it's probably animation.
Yeah, that's
There
true.
isn't.
Well, there's comic covers.
Yeah, it should
I
be
don't know if
comics,
there's just
but
a comics,
it's
actual
funny
line. But
that
yeah,
is in the. I'm trying to see if that's in the Funko app already. If they say
the
what it
newer
is,
ones,
yeah, I think they are.
they may
But
not
they
have a
probably don't have
a
box.
box glam shot though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
they
it's just
don't.
the actual
Yeah.
pop. But yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, let us know if you guys. I mean, we kind of went just on random ramble there with
Yeah.
animation, but like, just what your thoughts are on animation pops, or if there's something that we like missed that like you're like very excited about that they make currently, or what they should make. I know that this is one of those lines that I guarantee if we asked everybody, name, give us a cartoon or something that they don't make already that you want to make, we could probably get some pretty crazy
I agree.
answers. And there's probably stuff I don't remember and think about. And then like, because nowadays, like I have a 2-year-old daughter. I know you have a 2-year-old son.
Yep.
So like nowadays we're watching some animation and some things like that, but to me, it's mostly Disney,
Yep.
like 90% of the time. But then there's some Nickelodeon. She's starting to get into a little bit of Nickelodeon. So like I feel like some of the newer shows maybe don't lend perfectly to pops, but I do think there's a 90s like span of some cartoons that they're definitely missing. I would have to like really look at a list and be like, okay, that was a Recess. You remember
Yep.
Recess?
I do. Which
That would be
that's a Disney one. So
oh, that would is that yeah, it is.
yeah.
That how is that not made? That there's perfectly characters for
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
That would be sick. So yeah, so I mean, I guess that doesn't go under animation, but it's like I forget
It's
that
funny. I
Disney
was
does own a
thinking there
lot.
was like a lot of shows that I was like, oh, they should make those like, but like, oh no, that's actually was a Disney cartoon. So yeah, it's not
Yeah, they
gonna.
definitely own a lot more than people think.
Yeah.
Um, but oh man, so yeah, animation is an interesting one. Like I said, I tend to lend more towards the cartoon version of animation unless it happened to be Dragon Ball Z. Now, that's not the only anime. So I do have some Grail anime. So I have a couple of Dragon Ball Z Grails, but I also have Death Note. So this is one of my favorite animes like ever. And I know I talked about with you and
Yeah.
Sensei that this is one I highly recommend that you guys watch if you are into anime and haven't checked it out, or if you're not and you want to kind of transition into something that you like, and I think maybe because I like horror, that kind of fits into why that vibe. I like the storyline and everything. I also have the actual like there's the actual like books that you can get. Like I have there's three of them, like it's like thick,
Like volumes.
they're all black pages. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's so cool. Of that, it's black and white, which is like the best way to see some of those like old comics and animes and stuff. But definitely check it out. Death Note. I have two of those. So I have L with Cake, it's called, and Ryuk, and they're both over $100. They're grails. There's only 4 in that line. I love that. It's perfect. They didn't need to make any other ones because they're like literally the main characters.
Yeah.
Versus some animes, I feel like there are so many characters to make, so it makes sense why they make so many of them. And because it's animated, and obviously when you're watching them, they could do so many crazy things with outfits and show. It's not like there's no like limits to that. So that's why Funko can continue to make like different versions of them because of that. And there's so many episodes and stuff. But yeah, that's kind of like my side of thing. I don't know, like, what would be your biggest like animation in general?
Yeah.
Like maybe some Nickelodeon stuff, or
Yeah, it's like making more like they already make a lot of the Nickelodeon stuff. And yeah, for me, it really was Disney. Like I wish they made more of like Rescue Rangers, like the Darkwing Duck, Tailspin. I think it'd be pretty cool if they made I don't know if you ever remember the Mighty Ducks cartoon show.
yeah,
Like, but once again, they're all Disney pop, so should have
yeah.
talked to us on the
I didn't
Disney
watch.
episode.
I didn't watch too much Cartoon Network, but I know Cartoon Network definitely probably has
I didn't either.
a
I feel like
pretty big line.
we kind of like missed, I feel like, the Cartoon Network. Like
Yeah,
we were more, I feel like, Nickelodeon.
yeah. Nickelodeon was definitely more around my age. That, and then like just your standard Saturday morning like cartoons and stuff, which I guess those technically are the ones that fall under Disney.
Yeah,
not knowing that's
they were.
actually what they were.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting because there's even some, I feel like some cartoons that became games, and now obviously Funko has a games line too. So yeah,
They actually, weirdly enough, they
weird.
do a pretty good job. I like just talking about this now with making cartoons, because it's just they haven't really branched into obscure cartoons. But if it's like
Yeah.
if it's been mainstream, I mean, they seem to have made it.
Yeah.
Even like I
No,
know
yeah, I was gonna
Disney,
say.
like they make a Darkwing Duck Funko Pop, but like they didn't expand throughout the line. Like same with Tailspin. Like they've made, like I really liked those Disney like Saturday morning cartoons. But like they made like the Baloo Pop, but like they didn't make the whole show. Like I feel like they haven't really, same with like DuckTales. Like they've made just the
Yeah.
main characters. I feel like they could expand on those, but once again, they're
You
Disney.
know which one is not Disney, and we forgot, and it's a pretty major one. And they do make some, and then they obviously expanded into like variations of them. Is Looney Tunes,
Oh yeah, I mean they
and
make a
that's an
ton of them.
animation, so that
It is
goes
under
under
animation.
animation. I remember seeing that when I was looking at some of the old animation stuff, and obviously there's some pretty OG ones, and then they kind of started recycling them like with different versions, and then obviously we got like the Space Jam versions that came
And
out and like
which
things like
those are
that.
probably
But
under movies, right?
yeah, I would think. I don't know that for sure, but I would think those are. But I know the original ones are animation, like
Okay.
just Bugs
Just Looney.
Bunny
Yeah, yeah.
and
Do they
the
make
actual Looney Tunes.
original Space Jam Funko Pops? Do you know?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the new movie was when the first time that they did.
They're
I'm
really missing
pretty
out
sure.
on that, especially with like a Michael Jordan one. Like
Yeah,
I don't want that LeBron James one. I want a Michael Jordan one.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, I don't think they do. But that could get makes me think though, because that's Warner Brothers, right? Looney
yep.
Tunes.
Yeah.
So like, what other cartoons are under Warner Brothers besides Looney Tunes? There's got to be something that maybe
There is, but I
would
mean
fit in
they
an
own Cartoon
animation.
Network, so
Oh, okay, so
it's all they kind of put under that brand.
yeah, and like Adult Swim, I think, right?
Yep.
And that same
Yep.
kind of
Yeah.
branch. Okay. So and because we obviously have some of the adult ones. Like I know we have Rick and Morty, Bob's Burgers, Family
Yeah.
Guy. Like
Family
they make
Guy.
all those. Simpsons, which I was surprised that the Simpsons line came a little later than I thought. I thought the
It
Simpsons
did.
pods
Yeah.
have been around for a while and they haven't, but they
I feel
have a
like
lot of them
I
now.
feel like they came out like right, like the OG ones look like old pops, and then it was like right after those came out, that's when they really started to make them more detailed, like Funko
Yeah.
Pops in general. So like they look older than they really are.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And they've run with that line. That's obviously a very popular show, so they can continue to make those like the Treehouse of Horrors version, and then they keep like milking those every year.
Yeah, which I feel
But
like though, like obviously people still love Family Guy, but they kind of don't
I don't
really
think
make
they
a lot
made
of
anything
Family Guy
past
pops.
past
Yeah,
that first original wave.
it's interesting. And I don't
Bob's
think
Burgers, they released a few times. I know some old ones, and then they kind of released a couple other ones. But Family Guy, yeah, I don't think they have anything more than the first one. Same thing with South Park. There's a few,
they still make South Park pops, I think, or
and
they're
then
kind of like con
they
ones.
redid like random con ones. Yeah, yeah.
It's weird
That's
though. The
another
guy
one.
who makes Bob Burgers, I mean, he has a few shows. One is actually on Apple TV. It's called Central Park, which me and my wife watch, which is it's a cool show. But like, yeah, they don't make Funko Pops of that, so that would be it would be cool if they like did start making more. They don't make obscure animation shows, in my opinion, where they do make a lot of other obscure like Funkos, but they don't really do that in animation line. I'm wondering if they don't think anyone would buy them.
Yeah, it could be, but it just comes back to where it's like they think one thing they want to get, but then they make something else and it doesn't sell. And I'm like, why did they make that then? So like,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
who is in charge of this? You know, like who's actually
Yes.
going and saying what should be made and shouldn't. But yeah, that's like the biggest thing I think for us with anime. So I mean, like if you guys are animation and anime cartoons, whatever you want to call it, fans, like definitely let us know, because I'm sure we missed a bunch of stuff. But if anything, one of our top questions I would say is like, what is a animation style cartoon that they don't currently make that you think they should make in a Funko Pop? Definitely let us know. Comment down below on the video. We didn't even talk about sodas, but I know sodas kind of is slowly getting some animation stuff going there. But that I think there's still so many pops that still are missing to be made with some of these old cartoons.
It would
But
be cool if they made a Nickelodeon line, though. I feel like, or a cartoon. I know they make what, maybe Samurai Jack
Of sodas, maybe?
sodas. Yeah, like
Yeah,
if they
Samurai
started
Jack
making the
sodas.
sodas, I don't think there's a Nickelodeon. It's just Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I mean, there's like I don't know what Speed Racer goes under, but he's a soda.
Oh, dude, they should make more
He's
Speed
an
Racer
animation.
Funko Pops. I forgot about that. That's like one
Yeah,
soda I
yeah.
want that
So
I do not have.
yeah, so he's I mean he's an animation technically that isn't.
Yeah,
And then
they make Scooby
besides
Doo
that, well they only make Scooby Doo the one
villains.
villain.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't make like they haven't made Scooby Doo or any of the main like
yeah, which
characters
is
yet, which is very odd. But that's another pop line that exists, and they've kind of made a few versions of. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. I mean, definitely comment down below here if you're watching on YouTube. If not, come hop over to the YouTube page and make sure to comment. Let us know what you guys think animation wise, what should be made. Or maybe even if you're strictly an anime fan, even though there's a lot of anime out there, in my opinion, maybe there's one that they haven't made yet in pop form. And if so, let us know, because we've said this plenty of times, even though we're not huge fans of anime specifically, their pops look amazing and they
look
do
fire.
lend super, super well to like these vinyl molds. So it makes sense why they kind of make a lot of them, I guess you could say.
I mean, they're taking over the community. I feel like Funko community by storm. I mean, I think it's got to be one of the most popular lines right now.
Yeah, and there's some hardcore anime collectors, and then some maybe like me that get some here and there. But yeah, I mean, I like the way they look. I just kind of stick to the say like to me, it's like I got to rewatch an entire show to really like get into wanting to collect the pop of it, basically. Yep. But yeah, that's gonna be our anime, whatever you want to call it, episode. This is episode 20. Again, it was an awesome episode. It was pretty heavy with news and rumors, but we wanted to make sure that we got that out to you guys. So, like we always say, make sure you guys are liking down below and also comment on this video. Plenty of stuff. We had a bunch of questions and things that we threw out there, whether it was some stuff from the news or the rumors, what you guys were most excited about. And specifically on the animation portion, like what are some pops out there that you want to be made of a cartoon or an old cartoon that you grew up? I mean, I know we have a pretty big age range. So
yeah,
if it's a really old cartoon or if it's something new that we're missing, like what should they make in a pop form that doesn't currently, exist? But definitely let us know down below and make sure you are subscribing to our channel. Thank you guys so much for everyone who already is. We really do appreciate it. And check us out on Instagram as well, Collector Chatter, where we'll, you could DM us or anything. We're pretty active on there for the most part.
Yeah, so make that all. Just make sure you follow us on all the platforms and like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when our new episodes come out. And we just really appreciate the support. And once again, too, like we were loving the comments, but sometimes like maybe comment what you like to see our next episode be. I mean, we have tons of different ideas and we kind of have a lineup, but doesn't mean we can't change it. And we would love to talk about stuff that you guys want to hear us talk about. So with that being said, we'll talk to you guys next week.
Take it easy, everyone.